Siegfried is a Republican strategist and the author of GOP GPS. He joins me now from New York. Good to have you with us.
Thank you for having me.
So what was your overall assessment of this first night of the Republican National Convention compared to the DNC? And what did the lineup of speakers reveal about where the GOP is heading and what it stands for?
Well, with the exception of Tim Scott and Nikki Haley's speeches, I found the GOP convention was just speaking to the base. It wasn't trying to broaden the appeal of the Republican Party and Donald Trump. It was trying to defend Donald Trump and also say that he was the greatest president ever. And that is something they really can't afford to be doing right now when they need to be bringing in new voters into the fold.
And as a Republican strategist, I have to ask you, where did all the hope and optimism go that the GOP promised? Instead, we heard messages of fear and division. How successful are negative messages like that? Do they work?
They work for certain audiences. But the problem that the Trump campaign faces right now, the audience it works for is already going to be voting for him. They're going to use this as proof positive to say, see, we already have this enthusiasm from this exact night and what has been happening. But it's not going to reach out to the suburban housewives who have been fleeing the GOP, or white college-educated voters, or even older Americans who are 65 years and older who have been fleeing the party much more so over the past 3.5 years. So if I'm the Trump campaign, I don't know why they're doing this, and I think they need to change course fast, but they won't.
Well, President Trump again repeated Monday that the only way he can lose the election is if it's rigged. He continued his false claims about mail-in voting and grim warnings about stolen elections. So what is the president trying to do there, do you think?
He's delegitimizing the election within the eyes of his own followers, that if he doesn't win, it's somehow cheated. And he's also saving up to his legacy of he's not a loser, he was cheated. He doesn't like to be seen as a loser. It's embarrassing to him, and it's the ultimate insult. So even though he might not contest an election, if he says, oh, I was cheated, it allows him to do a PR strategy.
And the GOP and President Trump had initially struggled to settle on one attack message for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. Did they find it during the first night of the RNC, do you think?
No, they haven't found it at all. In fact, they're offering conflicting messages. They say that Joe Biden is weak and senile and is completely a puppet, but at the same time, he's got an intricate plan to introduce Marxism and socialism into the country. Either he's competent or he's not, and it just cancels one another out. And I don't understand what the line of attack is and the coherent message that the Republicans are putting out there. We talk about how we need to have, in a race, have a lot of candidates going out and giving signal, not noise. We're hearing a lot of noise and no real signal and coherence.
Right, and just hours before the RNC kicked off, President Trump said there would be a vaccine for COVID-19 very soon, he said, and his campaign told us to expect surprises during the RNC. What do you think this means, and did they deftly avoid talking about the 177,000 Americans who had died from COVID-19 so far?
Well, first of all, the president has to address COVID-19, but he is absolutely not doing it the right way. They had a revisionist history video play saying that he had this amazing response. 177,000 Americans are dead because of the bad response that this administration had. And at the same time, they trotted out a doctor who was a surgeon to say Donald Trump did everything right. But if you go and you look at this doctor's credentials, he's a dentist. So that's the best my party could do? I'm not an anti-dentite, but I'm absolutely offended. And then with the vaccine, I'm very worried that they will trot out a vaccine before it's ready. There's a reason why we have trials and that this has to go through a process. And we're moving at very fast speed in general. And there is no doctor trying to put the brakes on a vaccine saying, let's kill more Americans and keep people at risk throughout the world just so we can stop Donald Trump. The president said over the weekend that there's a deep state conspiracy against him. And this is absolutely reckless, dangerous, and irresponsible, because if we get a vaccine out there that isn't proven and it turns out there are serious health side effects, or even its efficacy isn't at what it was supposed to be, we're set back even further. And it's just not appropriate.
Siegfried, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.